Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn going solo yet again, but don't worry, Margaret should be making an appearance shortly in the next couple episodes, I promise. In fact, we have some fun shows coming up for you guys. You know, I enjoy it. It's almost like a joke now. I always say it's a special show, or I'm excited about this show, and it is always true, but we have something a little different for you guys coming up in the next couple episodes. I guess I'll kind of break the news here first with a big knock on wood, and those of you guys who have been watching the show for a while know exactly why I am knocking on wood for multiple reasons. One, because I'm crazy and I knock on wood. But two, because we've been trying to open up a beer store, a craft beer store here in Chicago for quite some time. It'll be online as well. And we're getting close to that. You know, we found ourselves in some problems. We had one space over a year ago we were supposed to be open. Now we're in another location, and I wanted to share some of those. You know, as we're opening, I wanted to kind of show you guys what it's looking like, how it's coming along, how it's progressing. So I think in the next couple shows, you know, no specific timeline, but I'd say within the next 5. Take you into the space, show you around, and give you an idea of what I want to do with a beer store, because I really want it to be kind of like a beer lover's beer store. And you know, you don't have to be a beer expert to be a beer lover, and I think I want to show people that as well. Even if you want to love beer, that's good enough for me. So it's going to be a lot about education, tasting beers, and also, you know, being able to buy really nice beers as well. So very excited about that. I've been very busy with that lately. You probably have noticed that the shows have slowed down a little bit in how often they come out. That will pick back up, I would hope. Again, that's a little knock on wood. When the store opens, I should be able to do even more potentially. I don't know. I have to see how much you guys want, if you want to see me all the time. So one other cool thing is that after I do these shows at the store, you see how much I drink of these. I drink this much. They're just going to be there. So maybe I'll post what beers I'm tasting on Twitter or something like that, and you guys are free, those of you who are in the area, to stop by and try them free of charge. I will have tastings every day, and they will always be free. Okay, enough about that. Oh, but one more thing. I did the Moloko Vertical last episode. I got a lot of really positive responses about that. That was one that I knew I personally wanted to try, but I wasn't sure if anybody else actually cared about that. But cellaring and aging seems to be something you guys are very interested in hearing more about, so I will do more about that in the future. You know, I can do some verticals, but I don't want them to get tedious. A lot of my verticals are, you know, just a lot of big stouts and stuff like that. So, and barley wines. So we'll see. But I'll definitely pull some more stuff up from the cellar, and maybe even if it's a mini vertical, you know, 2 different years, see how it progresses from 1 year to, you know, another year, you know, several years after that. That might be fun too. 4-year verticals of, it's a little different. It's a little more different. Might get old. We'll see. Anyway, itchy nose. So what do we have here today? I don't know what you would call this. It's horizontal. This is the same beer, basically same batch, even though they're technically different years, but just different things being done to the beer. I'm talking about the Bourbon Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout from Central Waters up in Amherst, Wisconsin. Really great little brewery up there. Not that little, actually. Make some fun beers, and this beer has always been, well, has recently become one of my favorites. This is their Brewers Reserve Bourbon Barrel Stout 2011. And back in last year, when Bourbon Barrel Stouts, I mean, they're just impossible to get. They're really, really hard to find in general. They get snatched up. This year, Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout, you know, goes quickly as always. It was around a little bit longer than the past couple years, but, you know, it's really difficult. So I found myself last year looking for some alternate beers, and I think that's how, you know, as you get more into beer, you have to start looking for things to kind of fill that niche, because, you know, these big, hard to get beers, I mean, it gets tiring trying to run around and trade for and search out these beers. So there might be a sneeze coming later. I just want you to know. I can just kind of feel it sitting up there. So this is what was I talking about? So I saw this beer last year. I'd had it the previous year, maybe the year before, and it was good. But I found this that last year's bourbon stout from Central Waters was just so good. It was a 4-pack. I think it was like $12 or something for a 4-pack, $13 for a 4-pack. You know, which is almost half the price of Bourbon County Stout, something like that. And I thought it was a nice alternative. I thought it had a lot of the same flavor profiles that I like in Bourbon County Stout, if, you know, much more subdued way. It was a, you know, the little brother to a Bourbon County Stout. You know, it's not going to have quite that same motor oil consistency to it, but you don't always need that. I want this sneeze to come. It's driving me nuts. It's like Max is licking, but like internal. It's just something that's like grating on me. Maybe a sip of water will help. It didn't. Anyway, really nice stout. So I bought a couple. I have some in my cellar, and my nose is driving me nuts. I'll have to pause for a second if this doesn't go away. So I have some in my cellar, and I brought one up. Haven't had it in quite a while, probably close to a year. See how it's aging. I'm sure it's going just fine. And then also, they released a cherry bourbon Russian Imperial Stout and a coffee version of the same beer. So this is technically 2011 and these are 2012, but from the bottle on date you realize that this was bottled in December of 2011, you know, January of 2012, February of 2012, or January, February. So it's all the same batch, so they should be at the same kind of progress in aging. Generally, what you may want to be concerned with is, you know, in coffee beers, the coffee fades over time, and sometimes fruit can fade over time. In fact, often fruit does fade over time as well. So we'll see if that's the case here. See how these beers are tasting just about, you know, just under a year in, you know, 10 months or so. And take it from there. One note I want to make is this beer right here, the Peruvian Morning from Central Waters, the coffee barrel-aged stout from Central Waters, was recalled. There was an infection in this. I have had infected and non-infected bottles. I have never returned a beer that's been recalled. There have been instances where they do become really not very good. But there's other times where the beer that's being recalled isn't as advertised, not good, if that makes sense. So there was a famous recall of Matilda from Goose Island because it just, the Brettanomyces got away from it and it might have had a bacterial infection, something like that. And it soured basically, and it was still a lovely beer, and they actually used a ton of it for other kind of one-off and specialties that they did at Goose Island, because the beer tasted great. It just wasn't Matilda. So sometimes if there is a recall, I mean, I'm getting kind of a little inside baseball here, but you know, don't worry about it. You know, it's not going to be as advertised, but that doesn't mean it won't taste really good. It could be junk though, but you never know. So it's up to you. But that said, if this is really nasty and sour and stuff like that, you know, I'll sip it and say, you know what, guys, it's bad. All right, we'll start with the Bourbon Stout, Bourbon Barrel Stout. I wonder if it says how long. Pardon me. It doesn't say. It says drink in this snifter. Oh well. Tool block to be good enough. Okay, so I can see here, and you might have seen too, that it is a little bit more lighter bodied than some of those huge, massive Russian Imperial Stouts, kind of the special release Russian Imperial Stouts that you see, you know, like Dark Lord, Darkness, Abyss, Bourbon County Stout, Black Chocolate Stout, stuff like that. It's not quite that dark. Or Black Ops, I should say. But it is nice and dark. I can actually see through it a little bit. And this is what I remember from it. It's just such an intense coconut flavor that I really, really like from bourbon barrel aged beers. Yeah, it's got like a toasted coconut, a little bit nutty, almost almondy, vanilla, like vanilla ice cream, like a creamy vanilla character. And of course, chocolate. It really reminds me of ice cream. Almost when something's chocolatey and there's a hint of vanilla, I just think of ice cream. And the coconut, man, it's such just a lovely smelling beer. And to me, that's at least half of my enjoyment of a beer, is how good it smells. Oh, what a good beer. What a nice beer. It's like drinking chocolate coconut or toasted coconut drizzled with chocolate. Just a hint of booze on there. I'm trying to see what the percentage is. I think it's like 9%, something like that. You know, it's not the 15% monster that Bourbon County is, and I like that. I like that I can finish a single bottle. I don't need to split it. That I'll feel okay after I drink a bottle of it. So it's lighter bodied, but it's still really soft and silky. You get some of that wood in there as well. The aftertaste is just a really deep chocolatey flavor. I'm not really getting any of that warmth, but I am getting almost like a toasted marshmallow as well. The alcohol warmth, I mean. A little bit of a toasted marshmallow, definitely that same kind of almondy, coconut nuttiness to it. Really, really well put together. I think this is such a great beer. I've heard some people who aren't really in love with this beer, and I think it's because they want it to be motor oil. They want it to be sludgy. And it's not that beer. And enjoy it for what it is, I say. This beer is excellent. I'm going to give it a 94. You know what? I'm going to give it a 95. I think this beer is world class. It's just maybe not going to win the big awards for a Russian Imperial Stout because it's not motor oil, but for what it is, it's really, really good. I love it, and that's why I bought some, and I'm so glad it's holding up, and I'm so glad I get to drink this later. All right, should we go to the coffee next? Why not? We'll see. This is the Peruvian Morning. I think local coffee provider, something like that. No gushing. That's good. Let's see. Like I said, I had this beer, spoiled and unspoiled. Margaret is a big fan of this beer. You know, it looks pretty much identical. Okay, so I'm missing a lot. It doesn't smell sour. I'm missing some of the that toasted coconut, and instead I'm getting almost like a vegetal coffee, like a harsh roast to it, a really kind of bright, almost like bell peppery or like pickled jalapeno has a little sour note to it, so we'll have to see. Like a pickled jalapeno. There is underlying notes of chocolate, but I'm not picking up that same vanilla, which is a shame. And that's what I like in like the Bourbon County coffee, is how nothing is taken away. You're only adding more elements to it. And in this, I feel something is being taken away. But if what's being added more than makes up for it, you know, that's fine. Okay, so the pickled jalapeno was a touch of tartness. I've had worse ones. I've had ones that are really kind of acidic. There's a twang here. There's an acidic twang. I wouldn't dump this beer by any means. I'm on the fence, you know. There's definitely some infection going on here, but it's pretty minor. I mean, after a year, just to have this little twang, you know, it hasn't taken it over and made it vinegar or something gross like that. So that same really nice mouthfeel to it, but you know, if I'm already saying that, I'm not going to judge it. So I'll describe it a little bit. It does have a kind of a nice roasted flavor to it, but it has a vegetal note. Like I said, I think pickled jalapeno is kind of where I would go with that. You know, not necessarily bad, but you know, not necessarily what you want in a coffee beer. Not necessarily what you don't want in a coffee beer. Give it a little rinse there. Set him off to the side. I mean, maybe, you know, the Peruvians like a little bit more acid in their beer, in their coffee. All right, and now we have the coffee, or the cherry. I think after this guy is brewed, or during the aging process in the barrels, they throw, pardon me, something like 70 pounds of cherries. Pardon me, Door County cherries in there, Door County, Wisconsin. And let it age for 6 months on the fruit. So I knew it was coming. I warned you guys. So for all those who said bless you, thank you. And if nobody did, not cool, man. Now I'm sniffling again. All right, so you got that same kind of, you know, medium-bodied for a Russian Imperial Stout. I poured a little bit more so it looks a little darker. I mean, you can see this isn't by no means a light beer, but you know, I can still see through it. A little bit more head on this beer. I also poured it a little bit more vigorously. Nice looking beer. Sorry guys, you know, when the weather starts changing, it went in Chicago from 69 degrees to literally snowing the next day. I was in shorts one day and it was snowing the next. So it kind of plays with me. Anyway, you don't care. This smells nice. This almost has like a bright red, like sour cherry note to it. I'm sorry, that's the last one. I apologize. I'm trying to see if I can get some of that really lovely toasted coconut again. This one might have it a little more than the coffee, but nothing like this. I just broke my promise. And the nose whistle's back. And I'm sitting like this now. Yeah, that's how I'll do it from now on. Alright, so I'm smelling. Chocolate covered strawberry, I think is the big one here. Maybe a little bit of barrel character, a little bit of vanilla. I'm getting a little bit of boozy heat here as well, but I want that coconut, and I'm not getting it. I'm getting some vanilla and I'm getting some chocolate, but it's not kind of evoking those really nice ice cream notes. And the cherry's there too, though, so it's good. This is nice. This is a good beer. All day long, those like cherry chocolates with the booze or rum or brandy or whatever are in them. That's what this tastes like. It's really nice. It's like a boozy cherry with chocolate drizzled over it. And across all of them, that just really nice soft mouth feel. That just it is enjoyable to kind of swish around in your mouth. Really nice. Yeah, I mean, the fruit, it almost has like it's certainly cherry, but like a brighter cherry. Almost you're starting to get into maybe like a little bit of peach or stuff like that. It's brighter. The chocolate is just subdued and the vanilla is subdued. It's really about that chocolate, that cherry, then the chocolate, and then, you know, beneath that, the vanilla. I also think it somehow brings out more of the booze as well. You know, it's a good beer. I'm gonna go 90 with this beer. I'll go 90. Whatever, I'll go 90. 90 plus. It's a really solid beer. I'm trying to be rough on it. It just is nowhere near as good as this beer to me. But I could see somebody liking this one more. There you go. For me, 95 and 90. You know, DNF over here. So really good. I'm gonna finish this off right now so I can pour myself more of this. And thanks for all the emails and everything, guys. I know I always say it. You guys are always so awesome. I try to get back to you as much and as quickly as I can. Sometimes I miss out on stuff, though. You know, I get inundated with spam comments on the website, and it takes me a while to kind of filter through some of the legit ones. I got to find a way around it, and I apologize if it takes a couple days for your comment to get up on the site. That's only for the first time, you know, and then after that, you will automatically be approved. But thanks so much. Please keep the comments coming in. You can send me an email directly or just go to Facebook, or my personal favorite, just leave it right on the site. iTunes reviews are always welcome too. Thanks so much, guys. Look forward to showing you some really cool photos and, you know, videos of the new space, and I want to know what you guys think, what you guys want to know. I'm relying on you guys here. This is kind of a demand, but I'll bring it up later. But until I do, I've got some great beer to drink, and hopefully you do too.